Elvedin was born and raised in Bosnia and Herzegovina. He came to the United States after the war with his sister in 1996 and settled in Burlington, Vermont. As a US citizen, he lives with his wife, Adina, and their 2 young children on a quiet street in South St. Louis. He currently works as an inventory control supervisor at Marlow Coil DIS. As a survivor of genocide in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Elvedin was one of the first witnesses to testify in 2012 at the war crimes trial of the military commander Ratko Mladić by the International Criminal Tribunal for former Yugoslavia. His testimony was used to show that Mladić's forces committed extermination, forcible deportation, numerous crimes against humanity, mass murder, and genocide on an organized basis. Mladić was the Serbian general who initiated the siege of Sarajevo and later led the forces that massacred over 8,000 Bosnian men and boys after overrunning the United Nations safe area of Srebrenica. He was indicted for war crimes in 1996 and was at large until 2011. Elvedin told the court about a less infamous incident, a mass murder in the village of Grabovica, where 162 men were brutally murdered. It was the last time he saw his father, his uncle, his cousins, and friends from nearby villages. Their bodies were never recovered. Now we will watch a brief video that shows Elvedin bravely sharing his testimony before the International Criminal Court. After the video, Elvedin will join us to share more of his experiences.
Tomorrow, I'll be standing here where the podium is. Mr. Groom will be next to me, and then Arthur will be sitting at the end.
So when I walk in tomorrow, everyone is going to be here pretty much?
Everybody will be here.
Even
yes.
Defense?
The defense will be here, and Mladić will already be in the courtroom.
Okay.
And he does have the 2 security guys on each side of him. And the big thing to remember when you come in is a deep breath.
Yes. A little bit nervous. Brings the memories back.
The first witness that testifies is an extraordinary young man who was 14 at the time, Elvedin Pasic, and it's a crime that occurred in 1992, and it mirrors the crime committed in Srebrenica in 1995. And we've decided to call him first because it really demonstrates the way Mladić approached war and his willingness to commit terrible crimes. He will just tell in his own words what happened to him and his family.
And my wife is going to be somewhere in the back room?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, she'll be back right behind you.
Okay.
What's your impression of his recollection?
Rock solid. Yes, yes. My impression is when he goes back in time, he remembers it exactly as he experienced it.
He says he's nervous, but he looks okay. He looks like just appropriate level of nervousness that you expect, and I'm sure that'll be gone after the first few minutes in court.
I agree. I think as soon as he, sits down and starts talking, I think he'll be fine.
Ratko Mladić is facing 11 charges, including 2 counts of genocide, considered the most serious crime under international law.
Peter, will we go?
The prosecution must prove his intent to destroy in whole or in part the non-Serb population in Bosnia. The defense insists he's innocent and never participated in or ordered any crimes.
This is case IT0992T, the prosecutor versus Ratko Mladić.
Thank you, Madam Magistrate.
Mr. Groom, is the prosecution ready to make its opening statement?
It is, Your Honor.
Then you may proceed.
Your Honors, 4 days ago marked 2 decades since Ratko Mladic became the commander of the main staff of the Army of Republika Srpska, the VRS. On that day, Mladic began his full participation in a criminal endeavor of ethnically cleansing much of Bosnia. The world watched in disbelief that in neighborhoods and villages within Europe, civilians who were targeted for no other reason than they were an ethnicity other than Serb. Their land, their lives, their dignity attacked in a coordinated and carefully planned manner. The next time I address you about the evidence in this case will be at the end of the trial. At that time, when I come before you again, I will ask that you give the people of Bosnia what they have waited so long for. The truth about what Ratko Mladic did to that beautiful and complex land. The truth about what Ratko Mladic did to Bosnia's people.
Is the prosecution ready to call its first witness?
Your Honor, the prosecution is ready to call its first witness, Mr. Elvedin Pasic.
I solemnly declare that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Pasic. Please be seated. You will now first be examined by Ms. Bible, who's counsel for the prosecution.
Thank you, Mr. President, Your Honors. Good afternoon, Mr. Pasic. Could you tell us the size and ethnicity of your village?
My village, Hrvatini, was 100% Muslim and approximately 100 houses.
Drawing your attention to May of 1992, was there a religious occasion celebrated in your village?
Yes, we were celebrating our holiday by them. The first day we went to the mosque. I was excited as a being little boy. On our second day, we were attacked. The bombs and the shells started landing in our village. We were instructed to form 3 lines and to lay down in this puddle of mud and water. I was laying down next, my dad was on my left-hand side and my uncle was on my right-hand side. And as I was laying down, they ordered us to, all the women and children, to get up. And at first I didn't want to get up because I was afraid to separate from my dad. And he told me to get up. I told him, no, I don't want to go without you. He says, get up. I said, "Oh." And my uncle insisted, he says, get up, you will survive. Since I'm reliving and going back to this, I had a dream about my dad last night. For the first time, I was able to see his face. I'm glad, because most of the dreams, nightmares that I have from the personal experience, I was always trying to reach him. I saw his face last night. I miss my dad. Let me find my dad. Please. I would like to find my dad.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, survivors, family members, and all those gathered in the spirits of remembrance. I was only 14 years old when war came to my village of Hrvatia near Kotrvarac, in northern Bosnia and Herzegovina. Before the war, we lived peacefully. Bosniaks, Croats, and Serbs, neighbors, friends, and schoolmates. We played soccer and basketball together. We shared meals, celebrated holidays, even wore each other shorts and shoes. I remember those days with warmth because they were real. That was our life before hatred was allowed to speak louder than humanity. But on the second night of our Muslim holiday, Eid al-Adha in June 1992, that peaceful life ended. Our village was shelled by Serbs police from Banja Luka in coordination with local Serb forces and VRS troops. The town on Kotrvarac quickly fell. Our homes were attacked. My family and I ran for our lives like so many others. We became hunted. Not because we had done anything wrong, but because who we were. We spent months moving through forest, enemy territory, searching for safety, searching for mercy. Anyone who tried to help us was interrogated and detained by Serb soldiers. Eventually, a large group of us, tired and broken from hiding, decided to return to Hrvatia, only to find it in ashes, homes destroyed, the elderly murdered, our dog was shot, and everything we had gone. We were told to leave again by a Serb soldier, this time for Večići, another village under siege. But Večići could only hold on for so long. The lost stronghold fell. And then came the journey that changed my life forever. Fearing for my safety, my father took me with him and a group of 700 others, mostly men, some women and children, as we tried to flee through the woods towards safe territory of Travnik. At night, in silence, we moved through the dangerous terrain, believing that maybe freedom was near. But we were ambushed. Roughly 200 of us captured, including my father, uncle, cousin, relatives, and me. We were taken to school in village of Grabovica, ordered to lie down in rows on the muddy ground, 3 deep like sardines. I was face down between my father and an uncle. Serb soldiers celebrated around us, drunk on power, firing bullets over our heads, agonizing us, picking people at random to beat or kill. My father was pulled from the group, accused of stealing Serb soldiers' boots. I heard every punch, every groan that he made while beaten by Serb soldiers. And yet somehow he came back. He lay down next to me and whispered, "Don't worry, everything's gonna be okay." Soon as Serb soldiers yelled, "Any women and children, get up now." I froze. I didn't want to leave my father. I was scared. Then my uncle whispered, "Get up, child. You will survive." And I did. I was the very last one to get up. As I walked away, I saw Imam from Večići village faced up in the blood, motionless. We passed angry mobs on the side of the road, spitting, screaming, throwing stones at us as we were walking towards school. At school, we were forced to stand in the courtyard, guns pointed at our heads. I thought we would have been executed right there and then. But instead, we were locked inside, cold, hungry, soaked from the rain. That night, I heard the screams from the men taken upstairs, men who never walked out again. The next morning, bus arrived, we were forced to board it. We passed through another angry mob forming a gauntlet for us to go through. As we were walking, instructed to walk through the gauntlet slowly, they were beating us, screaming, hitting us with everything that they had. At one point, I was pulled down by a woman dressed in the black with a knife in her hand over my throat. She was screaming and yelling, "Let me kill this little balia. Let me kill this one little one." Blaming me for her son's death. A soldier pushed her away and shoved me onto the bus. I was the last to board. As the bus drove away, I looked up on the second floor of the school. A hand was waving through the window. I believe it was my father's. I never saw him again. Around 169 men were killed by Serb soldiers that night, according to verdict from the Hague Tribunal Court. Mass grave of 8 victims was found years later. My uncle's remains were among them. Others, like my father, cousin, and relatives, are still missing to this day. It has been 33 years, and still the pain of loss and injustice remains. But we're here today to remember them, to say their names in our hearts, to honor their lives, their stories, their dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, we must not be silent. After the Holocaust, the entire world said never again, but it happened again in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And it continues to happen in other places because hate, once unleashed, grows fast. It begins with words. Words that deny someone's humanity. Words that divide, blame, and vilify. And those words become weapons. We see all this all around the world today. Ethnic politics, hate speeches, genocide denial. That's why we must speak up. We must educate our next generation about what happened in Grabovica, what happened in our Srebrenica, but why it happened and how to prevent it. We must defend the truth, not just for our loved ones, but for every community facing dehumanization. Today, I speak not just as a survivor, but as a witness. I carry with me the names of those who never came back. They deserve more than silence. They deserve justice, truth, and memory. So let us honor them today and every day by standing together, not just in remembrance, but in responsibility. Let our message be very clear. Never again must truly mean never again. Thank you.